The devil are we? So today we are looking at some more mysteries. Mysteries of the paranormal. And as Casper would say, the freaky deaky. Let's take a look.
It's hard to imagine a more tranquil activity than flying a kite. So it's shocking when something so
No, stressful as anything flying a kite.
innocent turns potentially deadly. And the way this strange story ended had some people calling it a miracle. First, a warning, this video may disturb some viewers. It's August 2020 in the city of Hsinchu in northern Taiwan. At an annual international kite festival, dozens of colorful and creative kites are soaring through
That's quite impressive, to be honest.
the sky. When suddenly everything goes awry.
Jesus Christ, is someone caught up in the kite? Are they tangled, or are they just actually holding onto it?
Cameras are rolling as the tail of a 75-foot-long kite snatches up a 3-year-old spectator in a strong gust of wind.
Shit, 3-year-old, I didn't know that.
This footage is unbelievable, but look again from another angle.
The girl is carried off into the sky, holding on for dear life. But at 3 years old, how would a child be able to hold on to something that seems so...
If that's real, and on the second look, I'm on the fence now. If that's real, then surely the kite's got to be tangled round.
flimsy?
After about 8 seconds, the wind finally brings the toddler closer to the ground where people can grab her. What's most amazing, once freed, she only has some scratches to the neck. The footage is so crazy, it has people questioning if it could possibly be real. Now, it's true the girl may just have gotten tangled in the kite, but its material is so lightweight and slippery, it has people wondering if she could possess abnormal strength for a toddler that
I'm not even convinced it's real now.
enabled her to hold on while being whipped through the air.
All she had to do was let go. And that...
Yeah, let go at like 30,000 feet. Well, they weren't 30,000 feet. Sorry, 30 feet. 30 feet.
it's game over.
So some believe the only way the girl could have survived this ordeal is with the help of divine intervention.
According to
Yeah, so if the child died, you wouldn't say it was divine intervention, would you?
Christian faith tradition, each person has their own guardian angel. Believers might say that this would be an
It would have been God works in mysterious ways.
instance where a guardian angel was there to help safely guide her back to Earth.
Look closely at this clip of the incident. See those glowing orbs in the sky?
Aliens. Definitely aliens. It's the Taiwanosphere. Not the Bugosphere, it's the Taiwanosphere.
Some have claimed those are guardian angels appearing as balls of light. These shocking clips show the enormous power of a sudden wind gust. Hurricane-force winds can even tear apart buildings. But did this video of the Taiwanese toddler
It was nowhere near like hurricane force winds. Everyone on the ground was like having a lovely sunny day.
actually happen? Let's turn to our experts to see if they were as blown away as we were. Forensic video analyst Michael Primo does a comparative analysis with various recordings of the event.
I didn't detect any evidence that these things were computer graphic generated or that these events were staged in some way, shape, or form. The movements of the operators of the cameras feels natural. They're almost surprised that this is happening.
If the video is real, we need an explanation. So,
Is that even a child attached to the kite, or is it someone's put like a doll in there to fool everyone?
could guardian angels have protected this toddler?
Are you going to prove that one way or the other?
Catholic miracle researcher Michael O'Neill says the belief in guardian angels has been around since the 4th century. Yet O'Neill is also a trained engineer, and he thinks something else is at play.
Some have perceived orbs in the background in this image and therefore extrapolated that to mean angels being
Could be just lens flare. Could be a bird.
present, but because it was a festival of kites, those just look like other kites in the distance that maybe the sun is reflecting off of.
So if not through the help of angels, how did the girl remain attached securely enough to make it down safely?
It's definitely possible for a kite to provide enough force to lift a small child.
He's right about that. Just look at what this freak gust did to a kite surfer in Brazil.
But the thing that's really interesting here is how she's being whipped around by the tail on the kite, but yet is remaining attached. What we do know is that there are types of knots called binding knots that once they are around something, if you pull the string, it doesn't loosen the knot, it tightens the knot. So this means that the more the girl is whipped around by the tail of the kite, the more securely she's held by the tail of the kite.
You can see that particularly in this frame where it appears that the tail going taut pulls on and tightens the knot. And biochemistry expert
Can't really tell that from that video, but that's what I think. If that's real, and I think the video's real, but I think if the girl is real and not like a doll, then I think she's not holding on for dear life. She's actually tied up in the kite.
Amy Eskridge agrees that the wind may have actually helped secure the child.
As the gust of wind came through, it actually coiled around her, and that actually would hold her pretty securely, almost like a clove hitch sailor's knot.
Our verdict? Through a miracle of physics, the tail of the kite likely knotted so tightly around the toddler that she remains attached to it until making it back to the ground.
That could have ended up so much worse. I mean, imagine if that kite actually took off and just went distances. Would have been good.
Another wild story from Norway. It's April 5th, 2019. A resident of Andoy goes outside to film the Northern Lights when the peaceful scene literally explodes. 4 balls of bright light erupt and seem to drop 4 glowing objects to Earth. Then, watch, just as it starts to fade, 4 more blow up. Now, on one hand,
I don't like the fact that, oh, look, I'm going outside. I'm just filming this bit of sky here. Oh, hold on a minute. What are these 4 orbs in the sky?
this area is a hotbed for strange legends.
The Arctic is a very remote place. It's a very hard place to live. So what you're going to have is stories that tell of odd lights in the sky, of monsters out on the horizon, of beings from the sky that come down and sort of interfere in the daily affairs of humans.
In Viking lore, the giant wolf Fenrir and his sons will one day eat the sun and moon and make the stars disappear.
Well, is that Atlas 31, 33? I'm getting the number wrong, but there's a comet on the way past the sun, but there's a theory that it could be an interstellar spacecraft.
But as this recent
Ready to attack Earth in November 2025.
incident plays out in Norway, locals are more inclined to think UFO, especially given the strange color, shape, and pattern of these lights. Emergency lines light up with calls about an invasion, and others don't see aliens. They see a bear, the Russian bear.
The Arctic is hotly contested area. It's basically rich, very rich in precious metals. Russia has a big presence there. They really want the shipping lanes. And as the ice retreats, Russia advances. Russia's even testing exotic and advanced weaponry.
Russia is building a string of bases in the Arctic, and it recently tested a hypersonic cruise missile, the Sirkon, which reached speeds of over Mach 8. So is Norway under invasion from a superpower or supernatural forces?
Well, I am not too sure about that one.
First, is it a UFO? Astronomer and video effects designer Mark D'Antonio compares this to other sightings.
There have been reports of strange halos around UFOs with different color lights, but this is sort of outside that realm.
D'Antonio says classic orb UFOs tend to move very quickly, often with radical angular turns a plane could never make. But these just hang there as their glowing payload falls to Earth. That's
Yeah, very strange though. Very, very strange.
anomalous even by UFO video standards. So we ask aviation expert Tim McMillan about the Russians.
You're not seeing the same effect that you would see in a missile test, the different contrails that you would see in the sky, that freezing of propulsion exhaust that's coming off those systems. Whatever these are, they're quickly dissipating into the atmosphere, more consistent with a gas or something that's it's not a solid object.
And dissipating into the atmosphere seems to be exactly the point, according to D'Antonio.
We launch rockets up into space to actually see what happens when we release different types of vapors.
These vapors track the movement of the aurora borealis. And as D'Antonio digs deeper, he learns that NASA was conducting this research at that time using a special technology.
It turns out that this particular rocket is known as a Black Brant that actually launched all these different types of vapors up into the upper atmosphere.
That's a cool effect, to be honest, if that's just NASA's rocket.
So, our verdict? This was in fact a NASA test. One reason it was such a spectacular show is that the tracers consisted of some of the same chemicals used in fireworks. In early July 2018, Crystal Washington is mourning the death of her beloved grandfather when she hears there's a storm approaching.
I went outside and something just said, pull out your phone and start recording.
The next day, a family member tells Crystal to watch the video again, and she can't believe what she sees.
To be fair, I didn't see anything.
Look closely. It appears like a shadowy figure is walking from left to right across a bright break in the clouds.
Before I could even...
I need to see that again, enhanced, more clearly than that.
say anything, my mouth just dropped, and all I could scream was, "Mama, mama, mama." And she asked me what it was, and I went back and I showed her. I said, "Look at this." From my point of view, being that my grandfather had just passed, to me it looked like someone walking up the stairs to heaven.
Many of the 100,000 comments on the clip agree that it looks like someone, perhaps even God himself, is ascending to heaven.
Come on.
And it's not the first time that something like
It is a bit strange though, I'll admit, that does look strange.
this has been caught on camera. Another eyewitness in Scotland captured this glowing rainbow angel that appeared on the side of a mountain in 2019.
There's a long, long history of religious apparitions, and many times it's actually Mary, the mother of Jesus, who's popping up in kind of a ray of light.
The Bible is full of accounts of divine visions in the sky, but only now do we have the benefit of 2 billion smartphones to document such sightings. And if these are more than just metaphors, could these apparitions actually be an ominous sign of the end times? According
I don't know. It does look like a figure walking, but you attribute what you know to certain patterns.
to the book of Revelations, Christ will descend from the clouds when he returns during the second coming. So could this actually be a stairway between earth and heaven? Let's see what our experts think. Forensic video analyst Michael Primo runs the clip through a tool called Medix to interpret the metadata. He finds the integrity of the file has been lowered because it's been recompressed so many times.
I can't say as to whether or not this information was added or removed from the video recording because of the high compression level, but I can't put my finger on anything that has been manipulated.
Then what about the theory that this is a connection to a literal heaven?
No, well, no.
Sort of an archaic notion, the idea that God and the angels are in heaven, even though that's not our consistent modern conception of what's going on up there. We still have.
We don't even know up there exists. We can't say, you know, like modern conception of what's going on up there.
That in our conscious.
But up there might not exist.
God and the angels are in the heavens or in the sky. So I think that when people see these cloud patterns that might evoke God or evoke angels, that it's only natural for people to make that connection.
Catholic miracle researcher Michael O'Neill is also trained in visual engineering and concludes that viewers are likely just seeing patterns that look like something they find familiar. So could the strange weather have something to do with creating these very specific shapes?
Yeah, it's probably just a cloud at a different level. You got clouds that are on multiple levels. Have you ever been a plane where you fly through a cloud and then you fly through another cloud? you've got clouds at different altitudes. So that could just be another cloud moving whilst the lower cloud are moving at a slower pace. So it looks like something walking.
Like it's happening here is that you have a line of thunderstorms or a series of thunderstorms all in the same place. All of those clouds would have vertical development to them. You can't see it because they're kind of cramped together, so you're just seeing the bottoms of the clouds instead. But what's particularly cool about this case is that you do have this distinctive hole punched in the middle of all these dark clouds.
Atmospheric scientist Deanna Hintz says the setting sun reflecting off the sides of the clouds is what's creating this bright spot. But what's creating the shape of a figure is even more fascinating.
These kind of storms, they have really powerful updrafts. Little pieces of cloud will travel up into those updrafts and then merge with the bigger cloud. And so the fact that this is moving in that kind of slant-wise trajectory up the side of the cloud is not uncommon because it's going to be following the broader upward motion that's happening within these clouds.
Yet many viewers still take this image as a sign of something bigger.
Believers take great inspiration from the little moments in life where they believe that God is there. God is working in their lives. So the idea that a person could perceive something in the clouds or feel in another part of their life that God is working in that life, that's an inspiration to a lot of people.
Just seeing those videos and reminded me of, how much my grandfather meant to me and how much I'm gonna miss him, and it strengthened my faith every day.
I think you're going to want to attribute something like what you're witnessing there to a loved one who's just recently passed. Natural.
Our verdict? This is likely a perfectly coincidental vertical storm cloud creating an optical effect. But for the faithful, a coincidence of this magnitude can be seen as proof of God's existence and power. It's a beautiful, clear day in Camden, South Carolina in October of 2016. Welder Corey Heron is leaving his wife's office when he spots something overhead so stunning, he starts live streaming it to Facebook.
Nobody will believe me if I didn't do this live, but I want you to look at this cloud in the sky. Check that out.
Hovering just above a nearby building is a cloud that looks unmistakably familiar.
Is that not an angel or what? Look, I mean, you can almost like see a face.
It also appears to have large, perfectly symmetrical wings.
Well, the problem is, didn't biblical angels look completely different to what modern depictions of angels look like? Like a person who looks almost beautiful with white wings and a white gown. But the actual biblical depiction of what an angel looks like apparently is supposed to be terrifying.
As Corey marvels at this cloud figure, it doesn't seem to move from this spot, and there's barely another cloud around.
I don't know that I've ever seen with my own two eyes this type of cloud. This is my angel.
But, okay. But somebody else could look at that cloud and see something completely different as well.
With normal clouds, you would expect to see dissipation, but this image was persistent. What's interesting is this gentleman apparently had a tough time with an incident that had happened and was perhaps looking for a sign or needing some support.
Yeah, I can understand that. How many times do you look at the cloud and you go, wow, look at that, and it's just a cloud on its own, but it looks like something like a UFO or a particular creature or something, or an animal, but it's just a cloud. People see patterns everywhere.
This sighting wasn't just transformative for Corey at a vulnerable time in his life. It was spiritually inspiring to many of the over 9 million people who watched his video.
All right. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
And that's how religion is so prevalent in humanity, because we all want to believe in something. But unfortunately, it's just a cloud.
As much as I did.
The same year as Corey's sighting, a Gallup poll found that 72% of Americans believe angels exist. So is the video proof that they are indeed watching over us? Let's have our analysts test their faith in this idea.
It's strange because if you look at the UFO topic, and not everyone's a UFO person, I've always been a UFO person, but there's this drive now to sort of almost move to the spiritual with the topic, and it's starting to come out now where they're looking at potential craft as being almost demonic and angelic. I'm not there. I'm a nuts and bolts guy. But yeah, there is that drive at the moment to spiritualize the phenomena.
First, we determined if the cloud formation is particularly unusual.
The thin, wispy characteristics of this particular cloud indicates that it's likely made of ice crystals. The light that's reflecting from it and passing through it isn't being reflected as effectively as if this was a cloud made of water. This is actually a process known as sublimation, where the ice crystals are turning back into water vapor and thus becoming invisible. So that kind of differential around the cloud can lead to pieces of it going away and forming interesting shapes.
And as to how this cloud was able to stay still and maintain its angelic shape,
there would need to be a few different things happening. For one, that the winds at that altitude are relatively calm, and so that the cloud is not being moved away quickly.
I don't even think it's moved.
Another factor would be that there is enough moisture in that layer of the atmosphere so that the different cloud particles don't disappear back into water vapor very quickly.
Professor.
Yeah, I think depends on time. You're saying it, don't think it's moved in the time that you observe it, but you stay there for 10, 20 minutes and it'll have moved or dissipated or changed its shape into something completely separate.
Hence checks the weather conditions on that day to see if they are consistent with what we see in the video.
There's actually a pretty broad high pressure region over the eastern United States. The winds within a high pressure region are often very calm. So that would actually set up the conditions to being calm enough that the cloud is able to hang around for a long period of time.
Our verdict? This sighting was a naturally forming cloud. But it is not our place to say whether it was caused by divine intervention. Those who believe in angels still see sightings like these as a sign. And we could all use a little help from above.
Interesting segment. Do you believe in angels? Me personally, I don't. I think that maybe some of the sightings of specific phenomena back in 2,000, 3,000 years ago might have given birth to certain religions. It's not out of the realms of possible. Let me know what you think. Evidence of the divine in these cases? I'm not sure. Anyway, you take care and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.